Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Fashion Let's Talk podcast. I am your host, Sharonda, and today the fashion industry is dealing with another loss. Giorgio Armani has passed away at the age of 91. It is a sad day for the fashion industry because Giorgio Armani really paved the way of what the fashion industry and being a successful business designer looks like. Many have stepped into the industry, but not many can say they have ended successfully. This industry has its ups and downs and its many different kinks that occur throughout every designer's journey. But there are some designers that literally can just paint out a blueprint of exactly what you need to do to become a successful designer. And Giorgio Armani has always been the master of that. Not only, starting his brand in the early 70s at the age of 40, also without going to any prominent school for design, Giorgio Armani mastered the whole silk, linen, tailored suit and lifestyle of today's woman and man collection. His brand really, was starting to take notice in the 80s when he was featured. His brand was featured in a movie called The Male Gigolo. It was such an amazing moment for his brand because you were able to see what it really looked like to wear his collection and how it really expressed not only just a style, but a person's lifestyle. I feel so hurt that we are at this moment, experiencing this. It is such a loss, but it's also such a celebration to know that a designer can accomplish and achieve as much success as, Giorgio Armani. It's crazy when you think about that this man still had full control over his brand, his name. He still had the last say on what the collection was like and still walk that runway. Whether it was the support of someone or a new creative director to be a part of his collaborations, he stayed part of the culture and the trends and all that was going on around the world. So it is such a beautiful thing to know that there is longevity and classic, no gimmick type designers. And the fashion industry is mourning right now. It is so sad. The feel is just like, wow, we lost one of the original icon, because everybody in the fashion industry swear that they are a fashion icon. That word is just so loosely. But Giorgio Armani is the official icon of this because he did not allow gimmicks to run his brand. He allowed the style, the quality, the beauty in the fabric, the lifestyle of the brand to just speak for itself and represent longevity, a legacy. And it's just so beautiful to see that he lasted this long. And it's also beautiful to know that he didn't start young. He started at an age where he was more mature. He had clarity of himself, the confidence to be able to say, this is the type of fabric I want to focus on, not, the standard style of suits making. he was at a point in his life that he was proud to say, no, this is what we're going to do. And these are the fabrics we're going to wear. We're going to collaborate with the linen and all the different silk fabrics and be consistent, even with their being different creative directors, the consistency just remained the same. And that's why he is so talented and known for that. He never allowed gimmicks. He never allowed, the press, the media to distract him from staying focused on what his brand really represented. And it's just beautiful to know that he did that. And another thing that always amazed me about Giorgio Armani was he was really, really the first designer to master and understand and create multiple brands from one brand portfolio, which was never really done before. It was never considered to be a successful act because they feel like you're watering down your brand. And some, place that on Karl Lagerfeld when he, started his brand. They kind of considered like you just pimped out the brand, but no, not Armani. Even when he created all of these different price point brands, it still represent that quality style, that, elegant and luxury feel, even though the price points change. All of the brands that he created under his Armani Exchange or Armani, Imperial, just all of the Armani umbrella and portfolio, it was still high in class. And that is when designers start to realize, wait, I don't have to jeopardize the quality or the brand's luxury or feel. It's from, Italy. I don't have to, break down the quality of the brand because I created multiple brands for all different shapes, sizes, class, culture of people to be able to have a moment and experience the opportunity of living in or with or around the whole Armani lifestyle. And many couldn't do it. And I will always use, Armani as an example of the quality and services and story and price points of different brands and the portfolio that it held. I would say, yes, some people can't afford a Giorgio Armani silk linen suit, tailored made. They can. It's about $3,000, but it still allows the quality, the class of people to be able to comfortably wear and shop and feel like this is my designer that I support, this designer brand that I love, the quality that I love. They have a connection, but also be able to take the brand into a market that also want to feel fabulous, but may not have, that finance to be able to experience, but want to be motivated, want to be inspired, and get to have that opportunity by, wearing Armani Exchange. And it still gave you that same feel, not a gimmick, but that same quality feel, but opportunity for someone else to join the stage and the journey of growing into this high-end quality luxury feel. And I always admire and appreciate, Giorgio Armani for doing that, for creating that lane and really showcasing how beautiful it was and being consistent. So I just want to say, rest in peace to the amazing Giorgio Armani, the icon, the fashion legend himself. You lived a beautiful life and you are so appreciative. We are so appreciative to all that you contribute to the fashion industry. So I know also on another note, a lot of people is wondering what is next. What is to expect for the future of Giorgio Armani. Like, it's, the creative director, what are the options? And I remember years ago, it's probably like 10 or maybe even 15 years ago, that I saw a BOF, Business of Fashion, interview with Giorgio Armani, and just giving different examples of things that can occur when, he is no longer with us, or the opportunity of, what's next has come. These are some of the things that I wanted to point out that, Armani himself said that is options and possibility. One of the solutions for the future for Giorgio Armani's brand is selling it to large groups like the LVMH brands or the Kearings, like those type of, companies who purchase it. It could be sold to them, but he said he excludes that. He wasn't really into that. That wasn't something that he wished for the brand. And clearly he didn't, because he owned his brand for more than 50 years. 50 years. Armani has owned his own brand. And I want to talk about that as we get into all the things that are option for the brand in the future now that, the legend is gone. But the second one is putting the company on the stock market. He felt if it had some really great board of directors who were strong and, not weak, like certain fashion brands that just sell it, just give it right all to LVMH, don't, fight for it like the other brands. I would say that Gucci did. They fought for theirs. That's why I always respect Gucci for that alone. Put it on the stock market. That is another option. And the next one he felt is create a foundation. He felt that, he's opened museums that store all of his amazing archive collection of gowns, suits, everything. But he opened up museums that was open about like 15 years ago. Because when I saw that interview, they were actually doing the interview at his beautiful museum. And I think it was located in Italy. So these are all the things that, Giorgio Armani himself felt that these are some of the things that can happen. These are some of the options that do occur when, the creator, the designer, the owner of the brand has to prepare for the future. It's one, selling it to multicultural type groups like the LVMH brand or Kering brand, or, put it on the stock market, or create a foundation for it. What do you guys think would be the best solution for the future Giorgio Armani brand? Do you think any of these are good options, and which are the options that you guys choose? I would love to hear that. But that is, what he himself brought to the table of maybe options. So I'm looking forward to seeing, what that decision was, and did they actually honor Giorgio Armani? And is that a concern for all of these groups that are buying up all of these, fashion houses? Is that a concern with the actual designer want? Their goal their family, it's amazing because even when I did research on him and he was asked, what are some of the things that you regret that you did not experience and you would have wanted to, really put your all into. And one of the things that Giorgio Armani said is he regret not putting more into himself, which was so powerful to hear. He said he put more into others than he did himself. And that itself was a regret of his. And I was inspired by that enough to say, I'm going to put in an effort to put me first. It is a waste of your time living the best years of your design blessed life, giving all of it and your blessings to other people. It is such a regret that even me at this age, I'm feeling it, but even the fashion icon Giorgio Armani even considered that as a big regret for himself. So if there's one thing that, you can take from this amazing man's life is to live your best life for you and invest and put so much into you more than you do others. Not saying don't be supportive and love others. That's not what he's saying, because look how he has foundations. Like, that was his motive. But also to put into you, because he said, he gave different examples that I never step out of my world. I always even made an effort to bring people into my world. And I feel that was also him trying to share part of him. But, he just also felt my world was so small and private. And I love that it was really about me stepping into other people's world and being supportive, probably to them that way, than more of him bringing them into his world, because his world was just for him, his blessing. So this man will be missed. I hope that everybody honor his legacy. So beautiful the way his designs were, and his spirit and his brand, and everything that he was motivated just shines through his collection in the future. And, we have to take these experiences with us, because it's a lot. It's a lot. One thing I wanted to also talk about that I was so inspired just watching his whole blueprint of his, journey into this fashion industry. Though it started in the 1980s, he did not stop. He created many different brands, and that's the goal. A lot of people got it confused, that thinking that if you sell your brand, if you sell your product, if you get rid of it, limit yourself to only one thing, one department, one way of branding a brand, you are limiting yourself. You're isolating yourself from so much more. So I am just so inspired that, Giorgio Armani not only, took over the fashion industry, but he also took over the hospitality industry. He also took over the furniture industry. He also took over the perfume industry. And most importantly, he sold his garment, yes, to other boutiques who was on the level of his brand, but also by selling it directly out his own store and boutique. So up-and-coming designers, always know and keep in mind the main goal, the main flex, the main success that you really want to strive for when it's come to be a designer, not to sell your brand, not to even look for partnerships to have owned it with you. It's about owning your craft, staying consistent, and creating many different platforms, stories, and price point markets to elevate your brand to the next level. And that is a successful story to watch and be inspired by. Rest in peace, Giorgio Armani, and you will be missed, and let's support the connection to the Wheels Fall Off. Thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Fashion Let's Talk podcast. And thank you to our sponsors, Naked Energy Drink and New York Fashion Week, as we prepare for an amazing Fashion Week. And Sun Goddess as well. Thank you guys. Enjoy. Love you.